Don't worry guys, Alice and Asuna got this. Wait, you're calling over 100,000 American players? We're gonna need some dual blade stat. So what's up guys, Foxen here. SAO Alicization, War of the Underworld episode 11. Final episode next week. Just when you thought things were going well after Asuna arrived. So if you're awesome, go ahead and smash that like, ring the bell, and let's dive into this juicy episode. Kicking this off, fun little late night drink date between Quinella and Bercouli. Even more fun topic at hand, one's own death. And I really just eat stuff like this up, not only fleshing out Bercouli's background, but also Quinella in the process too. Too bad too, Quinella didn't give Bercouli the royal treatment, not on this night. This little scene sure speaks volumes to the super crispy ex-ruler. I mean, how freaking insecure can he possibly get? You think someone eventually will rise against you? Taboo index created. Despite that, you still had this person who was constantly trying to control everything in this state of fear. Oh my Stacia, someone wants to replace me. On the flip side, this brief Quinella cameo actually did hint at the shred of humanity remaining at the time. And can you blame her? Quinella had no one, which is why this lonely grandma had to turn to Bercouli for some chatter. As for Bercouli here, from a jug of whiskey now to wine, I'm liking that he's quite the drinker. Props also to the enemy to not cutting out this fun Bercouli habit. Sorry Alice and Eldrie. Fast forward to present day, just gotta love Bercouli smiling at that thought. A man who smiles in the face of death. And I was definitely getting more of that Kirito vibe that I mentioned. But if you want to compare it to a different anime, it actually reminds me of that giant fella from Vinland Saga. So I really loved how the anime portrayed this little Quinella dream. For some of the cut detail, keep in mind this meeting between them was over 150 years ago. Bercouli here also has the ability to know the exact time. He woke up at 4:20 exactly. Next up, the intro updated, now SAO Awakening, which is actually the title of SAO Light Novel 17, aka the stuff this episode now dives into. SAO Awakening. What could that mean, I wonder? By the way, the Asuna song opening definitely has grown vastly on me. So hell yeah, finally a karaoke song I could actually do. Although, don't mind the sound, that's a completely different ballgame. Fun fact here, the title cards for each episode keep on getting fuzzier and more staticky by the episode. Is that a grim foreshadowing? Anyway, post-Kirito themed slumber party. This turned out not to be that Kirito recap episode that some of you feared. Just time for some early breakfast, chow, before offing some more dark territory morphos. Oh Kirito, you're looking better. It just happened to be on the morning post Asuna's return. Come on Asuna, give Kirito some of your lovely healing home cooking. Morning Asuna has some interesting food for thought. If the Underworld was going at 1,000 times the speed, that would mean she would have to eat 1,000 times the normal amount in the same time period. Hopefully she wouldn't gain some extra pounds from that. Then for that awkward joke, sure Alice, Kirito being that Christmas ornament surely helped. Although Kirito definitely didn't look impressed by that. I do like Asuna actually being the one sleeping at Kirito's side in the anime. That's right Alice, on the floor like the bee you are. See, this is why I don't like this stuff in the SAO anime. It's almost turning you against this great character that you loved for such a long time now. Lovely touch with that Asuna blush by the way. A bit surprised no Goddess Asuna PJ mode merch has been announced yet. Switching to the dark territory side, these melee guys were up awfully early. I was almost afraid they were gonna cut out Gabriel just forcing his order down Iskan's throat. Keep in mind none of the dark territory guys could disobey power. You had their whole clan training from childhood to become these hardened warriors. But now, around a third of them are gonna die not in battle, but falling down a fricking hole. Definitely not an honorable way to go. Or as Iskan put it, lower than a dog's death. And I really do have to give further props to this episode, with all the incoming Integrity Knights, on top of Iskan's cry out to his people. It almost felt like Bercouli, Alice, and the other Integrity Knights were the villains of this story, which has been true to some extent for the Dark Territory point of view. I mean, even Sheta didn't hold back any longer. She was making some very nice shredded taco meat. Right here, notice closely on Iskan's face. Doesn't that red glow look awfully familiar? The Dark Territory doesn't have this explicit taboo index, but they are bound by a similar principle. Everyone on the Dark Territory side has to obey the most powerful ruler. Currently, that just happens to be Emperor Vector. And speaking about Gabriel, oh yes, the conniving guy had something cooked up with Critter. Oh no. Let me welcome you to the most amazing English you've ever heard in an anime. My god, I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm sure they weren't going for that. Come on guys, get some actual native people to do these lines. Hell, I do it for free. I mean, I've already been to the studio before, so just give me a call next time. Let me be the chubby dude with the blonde. Did you notice? In these messages, some guy was asking the top important question. Not about the waifus, but can you become the waifu? Switching it back to the room with the two warm bodies. Asuna's phone here must be close to dying, that thing was working overtime. Oh yes, Yui is back. Thankfully, Yui took notice of the incoming danger. Time to get the SAO gang back together. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see Shinon and Leaf on the preview art for this week's episode. Like, holy hell, the SAO enemy already got to this point? Don't worry guys, like they're hinting in the opening update, reinforcements are coming up. But will they be enough? Anyway, switching it back to Wrath screwing up. Was it Higa's fault or Kiku's turn to fry? I mean, no one noticed the Underworld acceleration being turned back to normal speed? Great job guys. But who knows, maybe they're just super sleep deprived. Either way, yes. Shinon and Leafa have arrived. There's only 2 soul translators left, no more. Switching it to the SAO group in Aincrad. So, does everyone just happen to have access to Asuna's place? I'm guessing that Yui has key access. This whole scene actually reminded me of the intel update from Asuna back in Alpha Online. Since the anime did add that new Asuna scene, these guys already got updated early on the whole Kirito situation, which now helps to speed this up a lot. I'm not sure if it's been explicitly said or changed for the anime, but the NSA was originally the one involved in the secret operation, associated with Gabriel's contracting company. And really, what an amazing Yui moment here. She made an excellent point. From the initialization of the first VR world, to the whole SAO death game, it has all led up to the birth of Alice. And I'll just say, I enjoyed this whole little visual trip down memory lane. No surprise that Yui unfortunately didn't mention little Yuki here, and hopefully you caught Kayaba and Yuna in the background too. So, key info time. Klein here gave a minimum 30,000 player estimate, but that could easily balloon into the hundreds of thousands. Klein was like, on second thought, I must sit this one out. Agio here had the best point of all. Dude, it's 4:30 AM in Japan, afternoon in the US. GG man, we're done for. You better hope there's a ton of Japanese early birds, or Japanese businessmen who know no sleep. Next up, Liz giving her State of the Union, or rather Underworld. Take notice of the 3 territory leaders present. Thankfully these hardcore guys happen to be online to rally up the troops. Even Candelicia was there. Better tell her to use a nickname in this mission. Also notice Yuki's guild in the crowd, -1 purple girl. For Sakuya here, oh Kirito, that VR addicted boy hasn't logged in for 10 whole days? Stop right there, say no more. This is definitely a god level threat. Then for Liz getting into more of the details of the upcoming risk for volunteers. First off, the only way to log out from the Underworld is to die. No logout. Sound familiar? Oh, don't mind me here in the back, just my SAO PTSD kicking in. But more important, the Underworld has no pain absorbers. Time for some real pain. Any pain in the Underworld could potentially be worse than anything in real life. In real life, you would either pass out or just die after a certain pain threshold. Not true in the Underworld. And 3, a piece of detail I just loved when reading this years back. There are high stakes for everyone involved here. Definitely don't die, otherwise your years of progress in VR will be snapped away in an instant. God damn, I would just hate to be in that hot seat right about now. Poor Liz, she wasn't exactly selling this Underworld recruitment too well. I do have to give props to the SAO guys for being honest. They could have easily skipped out on these minor details. Of course, you had to have that one a-hole that just had to throw out the SAO survivor card. All of the SAO survivors secretly looked down on every one of us normal VR guys. I mean, how insecure can you possibly be? I'm sensing a little projection here. Thankfully, all of this led up to a very strong moment from Liz. I think a lot better than the light novel. Liz brings up the constant issue that all SAO survivors faced in real life post-SAO. The true reality of their daily lives. The Japanese government pretty much sees any SAO survivor as a potential threat. In other words, a ticking time bomb. Here, I was really over the moon seeing Liz's top moment combined with Lisa's end song. Such a powerful message, at least for us anime viewers. Liz here made the excellent point of what has been true for Kirito and Asuna since the SAO days, actually living in VR. VR for them isn't just some place you visit. No, you live and breathe VR. Post-SAO, this way of looking at VR has become much more common in the current SAO world, which honestly, no surprise, VR is everywhere. I mean, for you and me, it might be a little different to relate. A much closer example for us would be gaming in general. Or how about our slice of life, anime? Nope, don't just watch anime. You want to breathe and live anime. The cherry on top for me here was their little bow and pleat at the end. It just screamed out totally Japanese of them. I would really love to applaud Liz's speech. I'll be honest, it didn't get me soaked in tears, but it got my eyes a bit wet. Did you notice? A mysterious person in the crowd. Could that be Yuna as a little pixie? And then of course next to her, Eiji. Keep in mind that AG is still around. AG has been involved in some events post SAO Alicization, so if they're back, I'm 100% on board with this. But come on, don't just tease us. If you're gonna do this, actually give them a scene during the actual war coming up. But hold up a moment, this wouldn't be SAO Season 3 if it didn't come with that lovely cliffhanger. I only wish they showed the final shot for a few more seconds. Asuna, Alice, Bercouli, ready for round 2? Tens of thousands buffed up Red Dark Knights have showed up. Dun dun dun. I was actually half expecting this to be the mid-season finale. Post this episode, I freaking love Liz's speech so much. It really is SAO Season 3 episodes like this one that makes me wish the entire SAO arc was adapted in this manner. So just a few days ago, I was actually having drinks with someone who has much more influence in the anime realm than I do. Here, the topic of SAO came up. It really is a shame that SAO Season 3 was only given around 50 episodes to be adapted in. I gave out a rough estimate. If they wanted to fully adapt SAO well, they'd have to do it more like a shonen anime, think Naruto or currently My Hero Academia. Naturally, the pace would take a heavy hit, but you would get more out of every character, perhaps overall more impactful moments. Naturally, some things would be over-explained. For that, you would maybe have to double the SAO Season 3 episode count, or at least add another 24 episodes. And yes, I am aware how the first statement sounds. Only 50 episodes. There's so much other anime that struggles to get more than a 12 episode season. Next up, getting into the light novel to SAO anime changes, some highlights. Thankfully today, very little sliced out. First off, Bercouli. As the guy was waking up, he had some morning thoughts. He thought about how he was now the oldest human in the Underworld. He now felt like he could understand what Quinella was talking about in the past. Bercouli realized that Quinella was searching for a death that she could accept. One needs a fitting death. You'd have to find an opponent so powerful that you'd be struggling to get victory. Bercouli now felt he could relate. Next up, Alice. Alice actually had some quick self-reflection before charging into the fight. Alice thought back to the other day when she melted the Dark Territory forces. After that, Alice now felt that she had no right to an honorable battle. All that was left was to fight with her plus ultra self. Next up, some more details regarding the whole American invasion. I think they justifiably simplified the whole American MMO recruitment. In the current world, the US had heavy VR regulations, partly due to extremist measures. Due to this, there was a heavy crackdown on VR violence. If you wanted to make a game with a lot of blood or any damage to limbs or body, you'd have to heavily change your game. Oh, you're not slicing up people, but big ass bugs instead. This whole state of affair had American VR users pretty pissed off, which was something that Gabriel and Kirito took advantage of. Then for something a little bit more personal, just a quick tidbit for me regarding the SAO episode breakdowns. Keep in mind, I do live in Japan. The sad part about this when it comes to covering SAO or anime in general is the super late release time. For SAO, that's around midnight. So since SAO Season 3 has begun, I've been getting up around 3 to 4 AM every Sunday for me, just to start working on these videos. Which is why it sometimes takes me a while to get these SAO videos up. I'm trying to work as fast as possible. I just want to let you guys know what goes on behind the scenes a little bit. By the way, definitely catch my top upcoming anime for 2020. You may recognize a few favorites, including SAO. I also just released my non-spoiler look at the new My Hero Academia movie. I just loved the movie, up until the last 15 minutes. Go ahead and find out why. But anyway, happy holidays, Christmas is coming up. Go ahead and check out my 2020 upcoming anime video, or my pretty juicy video on the new My Hero Academia movie. I have a feeling I might be on the minority in this issue. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and I'll see you guys later.